ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Those Two Geeks. My name's Alex, his name's Joe. We are joined again by Stevie Oakes. Joe and Stevie just got back from Full Gear.
Yeah, we
And
did.
rather than do a recap of the show itself, because you can
Hmm.
Google the results if you really want,
Easily.
and honestly, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't really want spoilers. Uh, Instead, we're going to talk about, in part at least, the journey to and from, because I have rumor has it that there was you made a 6 hour trip out of a 4 hour drive.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about your trip down, the experience you had, and then just go wherever we're going to go from there. So settle down, folks. Buckle up. I realize it's been at least 2 weeks since you've heard from us. That's
Yes,
entirely my fault. I may have forgotten to hit record last time we spoke.
definitely
Um,
entirely your fault.
Entire, yep. So anyway, tell me again, how did the drive double in length?
Okay, so see what happened is I got an hour and a half into the ride and realized, did I take my belt, which is the key part of the entire ensemble,
Mhm.
and pull over to take an exit, pull over to the side of the road, check my bag, and sure as hell, I didn't. So I had to turn around and go an hour and a half back to Rhode Island to pick up my belt.
That
And yeah, and then back on our way.
yeah, that's shit.
Yeah, it was not fun.
No, no, I mean, I don't say at least it wasn't a passport, but I guess it's arguably more important,
Yes, it's the beacon of hope.
right? Like if you're going and doing the Peter Griffin, then you kind of need the belt. It'd be like Superman going somewhere without the cape.
Yeah, it'd be like Superman without his cape or Batman without his cowl
Exactly.
Yeah, it just wouldn't work.
or Lindsay Lohan without being a raging bitch. It's one of those things.
It's funny. I rewatched Freaky Friday the other day, and I was like, man,
Oh, you poor bastard. The only thing good about that was Jamie Curtis, and that's even debatable.
Hell yeah.
uh, honestly, there's a lot of good stuff in that movie, and there's a lot of shit stuff in the movie. But I really enjoy how well both Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis play the two different characters, and
Was it
you
the
can
was it the fiance Mark Harmon from CSI
yes,
or NCIS, I should say?
yeah, NCIS, yeah, I think it was.
Huh.
Okay. Talk about randomness.
I was gonna say that's one of those odd tangents we have almost immediately, and then there's that awkward silence of what is that tangent over, or what are we doing now?
No, but it's
Yeah,
Mark
it might be over.
Harmon. Like, think about it. It's Mark Harmon. Oh God, my dog. No,
Well, I mean, we couldn't have a those two geeks without a Brady sighting.
nope, nope.
I
We
mean, you're
couldn't.
not wrong. You're not wrong.
We couldn't. So, like,
He's like
in
herpes; he never
Steve
really quite goes away.
in Steve's defense, though, he made epic timing. Like, we went back, we grabbed that belt buckle, and we were off.
Yeah, I kind of drove like my ass was on fire.
You kind of have to at that point, right? Because you're already 3 hours behind where you want
Yeah,
to
and the
be.
problem is like we were gonna hit zero traffic, and then we ended up hitting some traffic because had to turn around and go back.
So, what time did you leave? So, I assume Rhode Island to New
Yeah, we
Jersey is a
we
several
left
hour
at like
drive.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Oh, so yeah,
And then
you
it was like what? It was like 7 o'clock. We realized the belt was gone, and then it
Yeah,
came back.
I was like shit.
But we still made it back, and then we did do a detour to the Mall of not a Mall of America, but it might as well be. It's bigger.
Well, I mean, we tried to detour to the Intrepid, and that didn't go well.
Yeah, yeah, that didn't go well, right? But we went to this mall, and my God, it's magical. Like I am already ready to go back. Like I've never seen. First of all, Jersey is not my favorite place.
No,
Uh, I
it's definitely not my top 49 to go to.
yeah, I affectionately refer to it as the armpit of America. That's the way I do.
Listen, they can't
And
even be trusted to pump their own gas.
yeah, and like but when we
wait.
went to
Say that
this
again.
mall,
So,
Oh
do
yeah,
you?
in New Jersey, you don't pump your gas. Gas station attendant pumps it for you.
Is it?
yeah, and I didn't know that.
I know that you have full service stations in certain places. Like we have them up here too, but it never
There,
occurred to me that there was places
there.
that were still only full service.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Jersey. It's yeah.
Huh.
I mean, I
Because
love it
Unless
personally because I don't get out. I don't have to get out of the freaking car. But
oh oh, it would be
unless like
fantastic. But
you're gonna take the pump or something. Like I don't
Right.
understand the whole reasoning.
Well, I mean, it's Jersey. If it's not nailed down, they're taking it.
well, that's just it. Like there's always a way to take something. And even if they do, oh, maybe we'll just drive off now that we've got the gas, but you meant to put the pump back. Oh no, there it goes.
Oh,
So
nuts!
right, like it's one of those things where it I understand having a full service station if that's what you want, but you would think that it would also make sense to have the option to not have a full service station.
Right. So yeah, and here we are on tangents
Not
again.
have the option to have a full service
I
station.
I'm not gonna lie. The fact that we came up, oh, we'll talk about Full Gear, and we've so far gone over gas station etiquette.
We're
And
getting
Mark
there. We're
Harmon.
getting there.
And Mark Hammett.
It's called setting the stage. That's what we're doing. But yeah, we went to this place and it was fucking magical. Like I've never seen anything like it. I'm just walking around like this slack-jawed yokel with my mouth open most of the time.
Let's be honest about this. This mall kind of brought back the glory days of malls.
Yeah, yeah,
I
100%.
I've been watching far too many videos lately of how malls are dying. So just hear that there's actually an active and thriving
Alex,
mall is quite nice.
You and
Which
the wife need
which
to go.
which mall was it?
It's called the
The
American
American
Dream
Dream Mall.
in New Jersey. It's right across from where the non-American Dream teams play.
Yeah. The MetLife Stadium in
MetLife Stadium.
in the Meadowlands.
In the
Ah,
Meadowlands. Yeah. Oh my God, it's fucking amazing though. Like we didn't even well, Steve's been there multiple times, but this was my first, and we did kind of bite the lion's shares out of it, but like we didn't finish all of it because there's still more to go.
Oh God, yeah,
And
there's
like
so
I'm
much.
ready to go. But here's the thing, dude. Did you see the picture I sent you that said Hasbro GI
yep,
Joe laser tag?
I did. Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm going back. I cannot wait to go back because I want to play
It,
some Snake Eyes.
You know how long I've been waiting for this.
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo,
the,
boy, I'm about to make a name for myself.
it has a
But
fucking ski hill in it.
dude,
Yeah,
it's
there's an indoor skiing,
crazy.
snowboarding area. There's a indoor water park. Right now
Yep.
because it's winter-ish time. They've got ice skating.
Yeah, Ferris
They
wheel.
have a Nickelodeon amusement park
Yep.
basically inside of there. The laser tag, mini
They have a
golf.
legit Toys R Us that's not like an end cap. It's like a full store.
Unfortunately,
Now,
they sell
granted,
toys from 6 years ago.
yeah. They sell toys from like 3 or 4 years
If you're looking for Yellow Ranger and Scorpino 2-pack, oh boy, let me tell you where you can get one.
yeah. If you're looking for the shit that's so outdated, you got it right there.
You can get
But
all
no.
the Tonga Warriors you need.
But it was good. It was good. And like, so we made our way from there. We kind of lingered there a little longer than we should have, probably.
Yeah, that's my fault.
And it's his
Eh.
fault, but it's also my fault too because I've never seen it, and I think he was trying to entertain me. So I'm not going to blame it on him, but yeah, we were there. Then we got to the hotel, which was what, like 25 minutes away, but it took like 95 minutes to get there. It was so long.
Yeah.
Like that last 25 minutes to get to our place.
But I mean, to you know,
Forever.
for you though, it was pretty cool because you got to drive over the bridge that Tony Soprano drove over.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Alex, I marked the fuck out. So I'm a big Sopranos fan. And we're all like, I'm in not a dead sleep, but I'm like sitting there. My head is dropping, and Steve's noticing it. It's like he's constantly like, "Hey, you all right?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm all right." All of a sudden, we like hit this bridge.
I snuggle 5 minutes.
Yeah, I wanted to snuggle like 5 minutes. All of a sudden, we hit this bridge, and all of a sudden, all I heard was, "Doo-doo-doo-doo," and I was like, "Oh shit, is this the Sopranos bridge?" And then I was like, "Oh my god, it is!" And then I start pointing out to Steve. I'm like, look at that over there." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know what any of that is, but I'm excited." Like there's power lines that's in the intro of the song that I caught that I'm so excited. And I'm like, holy shit, this just made my whole trip. And this is before the trip even like really, really got into gear. So or full gear. Yeah, if that's a pun.
I
But
see what you did there.
I was just like enamored with this, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is the Sopranos bridge!" And like, if I reached my phone quick enough, and I could have turned on the the theme music, I would have, but I wasn't quick enough. But I was still like in my head going like, "Woke up this morning, got yourself a gun," and I'm sitting there like humming it to myself. And Steve's like, "I don't get why you're so excited," but I was. And like the next time I go over it, I'm gonna be super excited because I'm gonna film that shit.
Well,
But
hey, look,
like,
we were driving through Stanford, and we were like, OTC,
oh yeah, did we
OTC.
send you that too, Alex? Did we send you the WWE headquarters?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Oh, dude, we were chanting, and then on the way back, we were so tired. We were like,
Yay,
OTC,
OTC.
OTC, OTC. But going there, we were like fucking full of piss and vinegar.
I feel like that
And-
ride home was just like
Oh man.
all the air was sucked out of us from
Oh yeah.
Saturday.
We
So-
didn't expect it, so let's take us into Saturday, Steve.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, so let's take it into Saturday. Steven almost had a heart attack, driving into Newark because
Yep.
fucking Jersey.
Told you.
and then I've never seen a stadium in my life with 4 different points of access.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I was like, what
Wait.
the hell?
So there's 4 different ways into that thing.
Essentially, because I was brought to like 4 different places to get to box office to pick up
Yeah, and
tickets
they
at will
called them
call.
towers. And like I told the person, I was like, okay,
Yeah,
what
no, there was no Lord
constitutes
of the
as
Rings
these
going on.
Yeah. I was like, what constitutes as these being called towers? And they just no sold it. They wouldn't answer me, whatever.
So yeah, so
Is it-
finally, after walking the circumference of the entire stadium, finally found where box office was, and then got inside, and I texted my contact that we were there, and then from there on it was just a blur.
So let me like I kind of told Alex this off camera before we hopped on. So I go in there, I'm wearing this really nice soft gray hoodie, nice bright gray, clean hoodie. And we get in there, and also we make our way to our seats. Our seats are phenomenal, by the way. They're like they're ring side, but they're like step side. So it's right where the ring steps are. And it was just incredible. And all of a sudden I get to a seat, and as I'm getting to the seat, this guy's like, "Holy shit, you're Peter Griffin," to Steve. But he looks at
Yep.
me and he's like, "Do you want anything to eat? You want any pizza?" And I was like, "Man, I'm fucking starving. I'm not gonna turn."
Meanwhile,
down
my
pizza
ass is like,
right
yeah, I do, but
Yeah, you didn't care, but I'm not gonna turn it down. I'm like, fuck it. Yeah, I'll take a piece. It happens to be the greasiest pizza I've ever touched in my life. Like,
and
I
you've
bite
touched a lot of
into it.
pizza in your life.
Yeah, I bite into it, and all of a sudden, right in the middle of my chest, and I was like, oh my god, damn. So I'm pissed. I'm like smoothing it out, trying to get rid of it, and I'm like, all right, I'll just hold the belt over it, and no one will see it. And all of a sudden, we get a text. Yeah, we need to go backstage right now. And I said, you've got to be shitting me. This is the one time I eat like clean all the time. I am so neat. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I just pulled up my dad. My dad was always notorious for this. But I said, what the fuck am I going to do? Go backstage. I'm kind of covering my arm over it, blah, blah, blah. We walked backstage, and Steve doesn't know like all these people the way I do. So we walk backstage, and all of a sudden I say, holy shit, that's Ricky Starks. And he looks at me and he goes, hey. And I was like, you're Ricky Starks. He goes, I am. And I was like, oh my God, that's Ricky Starks. And Steve doesn't know that like everyone's talking about Ricky Starks is signing with WWE. He's not with AEW anymore. But here he is, right backstage. And now I can talk about this because it's already been brought up by multiple news outlets. Otherwise, I wouldn't be bringing this up out of respect. But then we start walking a couple more steps, and all of a sudden Mercedes Moné runs right by us. But she's like got bitch face on her all over it. Like she's just not having it. She bolts by us. And I'm like, shit. And it starts hitting me now. Oh, this is getting real. So we start going a little bit further. All of a sudden we see Jon Moxley pacing around like he's ready to bite someone's neck. And I was like, oh my God, that's fucking Jon
And
Moxley.
I think he really was wanting to bite someone in the neck. I mean,
Yeah, no. Like Steve will vouch for this. He was pacing around back and
Yeah.
forth. Like, it was just intense. It was like, dude, you're not on for 3 more hours. But he was pacing in and out of the locker room that he was staying in. And he was just like, he had resting face and he was super intense. It was crazy. Then we get a little bit further. We're sitting there, and then, like, God bless these people, man. There was these couple of people that donated to a charity of some cause, and, like, to get their way into these seats or the way
Yep.
into the backstage. And, like, I don't know what they donated, but I'm gonna venture to guess it was somewhere close to like the $4,000 or $5,000 mark.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And, like, they're getting taken care of, and they're getting pictures. And Steve's contact, who he's friends with, and I will not, out of respect, say who it is, but, like, is like, okay, now it's you guys' turn. And I'm sitting there watching these guys, like, shit, they just donated their ass off. Like, let these guys get whatever. And I'm just kind of doing what we're doing. But I was like, if I get a chance to meet Swerve, though, off. I don't give a fuck. And all of a sudden,
And I swerve when I drive.
Swerve out of nowhere. I said it to Steve's contact. I was like, I'd love to meet Swerve. And he's like, all right, I'll see what I can do. Sure as shit. Swerve comes over to us, and he's the nicest guy. Like, the nicest guy. We ran into MJF a couple times. He was pacing back and forth. He was like with the fake bake. He was orange.
Yeah, Joe was like, I'm not even. No. He was like, no, I'm not. No.
No, because Steve saw me. I kept trying, and I was like, nah, he's going to be like fucking Mark. And, like, I did one time while Steve was in with the these two people that we'll talk about. Steve was taking a photo shoot, and I was outside waiting with these other couple people. And MJF came by me, and I was like, hey, Max. He's like, fucking Mark. And I was like, all right, great. So he didn't care. And I knew it was shot.
In fairness, that is exactly the interaction you want with MJF.
Fuck.
I met him at Rhode Island, and he was a complete piece of shit. Like, I kind of wanted, like, a nice backstage, like, hey, man, how are you? Nothing. His wife, or not his wife, his fiance, Alicia Tout, though, she was dropping back and forth, and she had a grin on her face the whole time. She was, like, bolting backstage. Harley Cameron, who I had to look up later because I got her confused with Anna J. Steve's like, who is this? And I was like, oh my God, I don't know. I'm not sure which blonde this is. But, like, Harley Cameron was fucking great to us. She was awesome. MVP is still keeping his streak alive, of not liking me. He does not like me. He loves Steve. He's like, Peter Griffin, my man, how are you? I was like, hey, what's up, MVP? He's like, I'm not talking to you.
I'm talking to you.
God damn. 2 times in a row. Raw
but then
AEW.
But then I'm a nit. So here's the thing, right? I'm backstage. My mind is going a million miles a minute. I know the difference between Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. But did I in the moment? No.
Say what you said.
I was like, yo, what's up, Bobby? He goes, Shelton. I'm like, fuck. I was like, he's like, yeah, we all kind of look the same, don't we? Yeah.
Oh man.
I was like, well, yeah, there's the rest of my night right there.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go crawl away now.
Oh, but then all this past week leading up to the match, I talked so much shit about big AJ and whatever the AJ and fucking what's his face there and the Rizzler, Big Justice. And then we walked into backstage. And who's the first fucking people we see?
Yeah.
Peter Griffin, can we get a picture with you?
Dude,
it's fucking the Rizzler and Big Justice.
So happy to see you. They were like,
I was like, damn it, I can't hate you.
No, and like we said, Alex knows we recorded a show on the way up there talking so much shit about them. And I kept saying, I hope we're in the front row. You're gonna fucking rib these guys. You're gonna rip them apart. Listen, they're not my cup of tea. They're not at all. But I'm not going to deny the cross promotion that they brought, because I even said to Steve, this is miraculous. For some reason, they're getting some of the biggest reactions I've heard. Like, of the night, with a roster that's so stacked, and I'm talking Will Ospreay too, they got massive reactions. I'm going to be very honest. I don't know how it came off on I said MTV, but on pay-per-view, They were loud. The crowd was loud the whole match.
Also helps that
And
they were home. They were the hometown people, though.
they were
You know
the
that.
hometown people, and that was the thing. And it's Jersey. I mean, it's fucking Jersey. Listen, I'm going to air my grievances right now. It was the home of the New Jersey Devils, which is one of my favorite teams. But there's a reason why people don't like it when you charge $9 for a bottle of water and $29 for chicken fingers. Like
What
it
the
is
fuck?
what? Oh, bro, it was
Chicken
wild.
fingers.
There was a guy next to me who bought a draft beer. He bought two of them because he's like, yeah, I need two. They were like, that'll be $51, please. He goes, what? And he's like, yeah, they'll be $51. But by the time they poured it, so there's a rule: if they pour it, you got to buy it. So like the water, I couldn't decline. Once they popped the cap, they're like, nope, you own it. And I was like, $9 for a fucking tiny bottle of water? Yeah, it was crazy. It was. I've never seen anything like that for concessions in my life.
I
Yeah,
can't
and
I can't imagine it. Well, no, now you pop the cat. Well, now you own it. I ain't fucking paying. So what are you gonna do?
You can't.
yeah, pretty much.
Right?
I
Like
don't know.
I have $5 in my hand, and that's all the money that I have to come get water. I don't have my cards on me.
Right. So
Right?
that's the other thing too. They don't allow cash, and I'm a cash guy. I'm old school. I like to
Yeah.
have cash on me. They don't allow cash at all. So luckily, there was a guy next to me who's like, "Give me the cash. I'll let you get the food." Because I ended up getting like a hot dog and fries. No, a hot dog and a pretzel, right, Steve? Something like
Yeah,
that.
you got a glizzy and a pretzel.
Yeah, it was a hot dog and a pretzel, and it was like $38. It was wild. And then I paid $9 for water, and it was just stupid. I
So
was like,
you paid $50 for a hot dog, pretzel, and a bottle of
yeah,
water.
yeah. And then so I got into an altercation with this lady. God bless her. She was, taking the concessions. And she looks at me and she looks me dead in the face and she goes, well, I ain't make the price. All right. And I said, I didn't say you did, but you're looking at me like I'm supposed to be very okay with this. Like, just let me look at my disgust for a moment. And she's like,
Yeah.
and I was like, all
Like,
right,
read
lady.
the room.
I was pissed. I was like, lady, just give me my fucking shit and let me go. And then as I'm leaving, all of a sudden it was right next to the merch stand. Now they had the official AEW replica. The official AEW replica. It was $8.50.
Which, to be
$8.50.
fair, that was the same price as it was in Providence.
Which it was, but it was $8.50. And I'm looking at it and I was like, let me hold this thing. And I'm like, I'm gonna let you hold mine. And all of a sudden they held mine and I held theirs. I'm like, yours is so much plastic. And they were like, yeah, they're like, ours is shinier, but my God, it's plastic. I was like, it's $8.50. I'm like, hold mine. And they're like, holy shit, what does yours weigh? I said, it weighs about 15 pounds. And they're like, oh my God, what did you pay for it? I was like, well, it was supposed to be 5, but I ended up, because of a situation, getting it for 3. And they're like, my God, this is way better. Now, when I was walking it backstage, when Steve was getting, chummy with the Costco guys, and I'm just kidding, he really wasn't, but he was there. A
I was
couple
just there
people
so I
walked.
won't get fined.
Yeah, a couple people walked by me and they were like, "Oh, is that a belt?" And I was like, "Yeah." And like a couple of them was like, "This is like as good as the ones we have in the ring." I was like, "Yeah," and they were like, "This is crazy." So like it made me realize how much third-party craftsmanship can trump just official merchandising.
I think there's definitely something to be said for the cost of the license, because we've
Yeah, oh,
spinning it back to
absolutely.
Hasbro. Like we've said it numerous times that part of the issue with Marvel Legends being so expensive
Yeah.
is the Hasbro or the Marvel license, right?
Well, the Disney license, yeah.
Yeah, which is why you can get so much more bang for your buck with the GI Joe figures. But again, like I digress. I'm being on a
But no,
tangent there.
so it was a great thing. Like Steve reaches out to me and he's like, oh man, I did something. And I was like, what'd you do? Because I left at that point. I was like, I was asked, do you want to meet the Costco guys? And I was like, oh man, how do I put this
No, not
delicately?
really.
No, I'm good.
I'd rather have a
but I,
lobotomy. Thank you for asking.
but I still walked in and like I saw Steve and I did watch the kid. The two kids lit up like the 4th of July. Like the 4th of July. They lit up
I
so
want a
bad.
hot dog real bad.
Bad. And I just fucking bolted out. I said, well, Steve's got it covered. I'll see you later. And I just slunked out. And yeah, but I was telling Alex, like, I got to meet Jerry Lynn, who I was so stoked to talk to. I know Steve doesn't know who he was, but he was the guy in the polo that had AEW on it, but he was an old ECW original. And I was just picking his brain for like 10 minutes, and it was just great. I didn't get a picture with him, but it was fine. But like my night was made by getting Swerve's picture because he was my top draw besides Sean William Scott at Rhode Island, and I didn't get Sean William Scott, but I got Swerve, and I got
Oh,
Swerve.
Swerve was there?
Dude, we took a picture with Swerve. He was the guy with the big
No, I'm talking
smile
about Rhode Island Comic Con.
Yeah, no, he canceled last minute.
Oh, right.
He was supposed to be. So like me and Donnie were so excited to meet Swerve, but he canceled. But Swerve was great. And like Swerve was super nice to us and all this.
Oh,
And
Donnie must have been like, you son of a bitch.
He was. And I sent you the picture, Alex, and you were like, wow, that's very unswerve-like of him. And I was like, yeah, like that's Swerve. He was great. The only guys who were like really intense was MJF, and I think it's a shtick, but like I don't know. And then Moxley was pacing. That was wild. I was like, I am not fucking asking that man for anything. Like I could tell he's already intense, and he's got like 3 hours to go. But then Christian too, right before we walked through the curtain to go back to our seats. Like I was doing that debating thing in my head. I'm like, oh my god, that's.
Oh, you know why I didn't see Christian? Because I was talking to Harley.
Yeah, Harley Cameron, what a doll, what a sweetie. She was so great.
It's like because she kept asking my contact. She's like, "What's his name?" And he's like, "It's Peter Griffin." She's like, "No, what's really his name?" No, his name is Peter Griffin.
Yeah.
And then she turns to me and goes, "What's your name?" I'm like, "Steven."
Yeah, she was. First of all, she's hot as fuck. She's got that accent you got too, Alex, which makes her even hotter.
So that makes Alex hot as fuck?
Yeah, sure. Have you seen Alex? Alex is a good looking dude. But no, Harley Cameron, I'm just
but I'm not gonna want to fuck him.
No, it's true. I would hope not. But you know, or if it's into your, I have to remember where we're representing. If it's your pronoun, whatever, dude. I don't want to shit on that. But no, she was beautiful and she was sweet as hell. Mercedes, did you see Mercedes, Steve? I saw her, and she was.
Yeah, I saw Mercedes. It's hard to miss that here.
Yeah, there was no way she was fucking talking to anybody. She had that like.
Does she wear a wig, or is that actually dyed every time? It is
totally a wig. There's no way.
It's. I mean, maybe. Either way, it's impressive. I'm just surprised that
she's still a hottie. Is she still following you, by the way?
I have no idea. I haven't checked.
You need to check. You need to check. Alex is too big for Mercedes Monet.
Yeah, my ass.
Like, I don't even give a shit. But no, so I know we only have like not much time left.
Yeah,
like, so
Mercedes Monet is still following me.
We got to our seats. Seats were stellar. It was a good show. I enjoyed the shit out of it. I will maintain right now, and I've maintained with you on this show many times, Alex, that Tony Khan books pay-per-view spectacularly.
Mm-hmm.
He just knows what he's doing. When it comes to the week-to-week stuff, though, he's very soft. I just don't know the disconnect. I think it's because pay-per-view must be treated like an indie show. Like it's just like a one-off in his head. And he just stacks it and does a great job.
I think when he has a reason to stack a show and he can put multiple matches on, he does really well. I think it's the issue is probably more a case of, all right, so I've got 2 hours, we have like 4 or 5 matches.
Yeah.
I want to get more on. I don't know how to get more on. I don't know how to advance everything, but pay-per-views typically tend to be the payoff for a lot of stories.
And what's interesting is that I felt like the matches, with the amount of matches there were, I felt like they were all marathon matches.
They were. And that's what I was trying to warn Steve, was like, there's going to be no short match. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, there's going to be no squash. And like, poor Steve, like, I would say, 75% of the way through? Like, it was like after Osprey. I think he was like ready to wrap. And he
Yeah, I was
all
like,
right,
all right, we could go back to the hotel any minute
he's
now.
like, this is done now, right? And I was like, no, we got 3
Yeah.
matches, maybe 4. And he
Yeah.
goes, what?
I don't get me wrong. I love watching an AEW pay-per-view and knowing that if there's going to be a squash, it's clearly either going to be televised or or there's going to be something deliberate leading up to it. But for the most part, they're not squash matches.
No,
You're not
no.
throwing something on that's
No, I would have cut Takeshita and Ricochet from the card. After after Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay, it was not needed at all. It was almost superfluous.
And honestly, there's always going to be at least one match on any show
Yeah,
where it's
yeah, it
superfluous.
should have been cut. It should have been cut.
Unfortunately for AEW, it's like I would never have imagined. Oh yeah, you can cut Takeshita and Ricochet. Is never a
No.
sentence I thought I would say.
Yeah, Steve was like, holy shit, you're throwing your voice out. Dude, I went nuts to see Will Ospreay in person. I've never seen him in person. So that was like one of the highlights of my night between him and Swerve. But seeing seeing Will Ospreay, I'll be honest, I became a Kyle Fletcher fan that night. I love Will Ospreay, but
Fletcher's fantastic. Like he's
fucking good.
He's not even 30. He's going to be if he's not huge, there's
a problem.
There's a problem. Now, I don't know if it's going to be he just doesn't connect with fans, but he's got all the talent to be fantastic.
Oh, he does. He does. Once you get him away from Don Callis, it will be.
But I think this is a case where you're actually getting a young star benefiting from a veteran.
Yeah. And honestly, Will put him over clean.
Yeah.
Clean. But I will say, if you get a chance, watch this fucking match. Don't order the pay-per-view just for it, but watch this fucking match. It is up in my top 10.
I think I just saw something before I went live with you guys that the matches are on demand now.
Oh, okay. It's stellar. But then, like, what did we get after? We got Ricochet and Takeshita. Yeah. Takeshita's dry as paint. I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care if he's from New Japan. I don't care if he's from old Japan. Like, he's just not interesting. He's just very mediocre. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. He's fucking mediocre. But Ricochet's doing fabulous. But it was just, I don't know. It should have been saved for Dynamite. But then what did we get afterwards? We got a couple more. And then we finally got Moxley and OC. Now, Steve's an OC fan.
Freshly squeezed, baby.
And I respect this because Steve doesn't know a lot of AEW wrestling. And so he got learned real quick. I knew OC wasn't going to win. You and I knew it, Alex.
Yeah.
Like, we knew that was just the way it was going to be. But I didn't expect it to go the way it did. Like, John Moxley opened him up within, like, the first 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, it was quick.
Holy shit. This dude was hemorrhaging for, like, 25 minutes. It was insane. And I was like, oh, my God. And I don't know if they show it on TV, but there's a point where they bring antiseptic in, like antiseptic, like, wash. And after the match is over, they, like, Will or Yuta, they dump it all over OC. Now, granted, it burns, but it's probably helping him at the same time because, like...
honestly, it's probably either heavily diluted or just water, and he's selling the shit out of it.
Oh, my... I don't know. You got to see the way OC was open.
I don't think I've ever seen antiseptic be blue, though.
I don't think I've ever seen it either. Yeah.
I thought it was... at first, I thought it was, like, Windex.
Oh, antifreeze?
Or windshield wiper fluid.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of that too. But it was crazy. It was a good match. Moxley, of course, won. I still call bullshit on the AEW title being in that metal briefcase that Marina Shafir is carrying around.
Yeah,
she's swinging that thing like a fucking paperweight. Like, dude, I have my belt. It weighs 15 pounds. You're not swinging that thing like it's paperweight. You have some kind
Plus,
of...
that briefcase doesn't look big enough to hold.
No, it does, because, you know, if you fold up my belt, I think that would fit in there. Because I'm looking at... Maybe. You might be right, though. I'll just be honest. There's no belt.
Oh, we totally forgot one match that we haven't gone over yet. The Scapegoat.
Yes. Oh, so let's get to that point. That was the crow-eating moment of the night. So Steve had his moment with Lashley and Shelton, and I had mine with Jack Perry. Like, I am such a diehard CM Punk fan that I take everything that is said and read as gospel. I watched how he interacted with Steve, and it was incredible. He was could he have been nicer to you?
No.
No, he was incredibly nice. And I would have had a chance to take a picture with him if I wanted to. But I went through like what Steve went through with the Costco guys. I'm sitting there going, I don't want to feel like a big fucking hypocrite after everything that I've been saying. But like, yeah, if I get a chance to meet Jack Perry again, I'm gonna definitely shake his hand. I apologized to him on my wrestling show because I wasn't there for him and CM Punk. I don't know the inner goings of what happened. I just took Punk's side because I'm a Punk mark. But I gotta tell you, watch the way he fucking reacted backstage to not just us, but to everyone he came in contact with.
Yeah.
Class act all the way.
It's
Jack
kind of
was
funny
so
because
good.
my contact too comes over to me. He's like, I think you owe somebody an apology.
Yeah, but it was funny though, right? It was like
Yeah.
a joke.
That was directed because of your interaction on the show, right?
Right.
Which
Yes,
is
yeah, that was 'cause of
exactly
Diamond.
what
I think it
you
was more. I
want,
think it was
really.
more my video I did after the show.
It was collision, yeah.
Eh,
But no, Jack Perry was great. It was the feel good moment of the night having Daniel Garcia win.
Yeah.
I still didn't think they were going to go through with it,
And that
but I
was the only
realized,
title change.
yeah, once it happened, I even turned to you, Steve. I said, "That's it. That's the only title change tonight. Like, that's our feel good moment." And you were like, "What?" I was like, "That's it. There's no way there's more of these." I love the show. We were there live. We had a different experience and different vantage point than most people would, so maybe we're a little biased. But I will say this: the one thing I was disappointed in was the very end. Very, very end. I wasn't disappointed
Oh,
Moxley
what with
won.
Darby Allin?
Yeah, I was like, who fucking cares? Like, I didn't care that Darby Allin ran a car into their truck. Like, I would have rather Samoa Joe came out and just pointed, or something a little more powerful. Maybe even
Well, we
Shane
saw
McMahon.
Darby in the parking lot. We didn't. Well, I mean, we
We
didn't see
did.
him, but
We saw him on the way back. We saw him. Yeah, when we left. But yes, I looked at Steve. I'm like, "Do you want to go meet Darby?" And he's like, "No, I want to go home." I was like,
I
"Me
was,
too."
I
We
was
were done.
done at that point.
I told you this is a marathon, though. I didn't lie. Like, I tried to tell Steve, whatever you felt like at Collision, it's going to be longer.
I felt like
It's gonna be
Collision was
more
just
of a-
less long because of all that ROH. And no offense to Ring of Honor,
Yeah,
because I'm sure they're
no,
talented as shit. They're more talented than I am at wrestling,
but
but
it's not AEW. No.
it was not
and
necessary.
the thing is with ROH, it's one thing if it's before the main
Yeah, no,
show,
it
but
was before and after. It was
yeah,
fucked up.
when it's after, I would be. I mean, obviously you're in a different situation, but after
Yeah.
I'm like, what, I'm gonna head out because
I'm ahead of.
I'm exhausted.
I will say
But
this: the one thing I noticed that we didn't know was Marina Shirakawa when she was on the stage with Mariah May. Do you remember her getting speared off, Steve?
Yeah.
That went terribly wrong.
Oh,
And
did it?
she got wicked injured.
Oh
Like,
shit.
so like they showed her head afterwards. It looked like she had a duck egg above
Whack.
her eyebrow. It was so huge. And I was trying to wonder like what happened when she came up from the spear off the stage because she was bleeding from the mouth like really bad. So I'm sitting there like, did she bite a capsule or something? No, she just must have bit her tongue or something or whatever. But like, yeah, but Mariah May also had a big black eye when she walked out too. So whatever
She did.
happened Rampage the night before must have carried over. Like
yeah,
Steve watched the weigh-in. I fell asleep. It was listen, I will say one thing. They are not my cup of tea. But I respect the fact that they bring something to the table of this wrestling organization. Otherwise, Tony Khan wouldn't have booked them. And when we got back to the hotel, I attempted to watch the press conference. I got through like 5 minutes of it and I was snoring like crazy. And Steve was too. Steve was
I was
out
out
too.
before you.
He was out before me, so maybe out 4 minutes in. But anyways, Tony Khan said something. I said this to you off screen, Alex.
yeah.
But Tony Khan said something that I won't forget. And like, I don't see the merit in these Costco guys. I don't get it. I think there's way better social ambassadors, way better social creators. My cousin is one of them. Steve, you are absolutely one of them. But Tony Khan said something. He goes, I used to watch G.I. Joe after school every day. And my gateway to wrestling was Sergeant Slaughter. And he goes, I look at it this way. My gateway to wrestling was Sergeant Slaughter, and I've been hooked ever since the moment I laid eyes on wrestling. He goes, life has changed, times have changed, and technology has changed. He's like, the way Sergeant Slaughter was a gateway to wrestler might be the way these Costco guys are a gateway to wrestlers for other people. And I didn't think of it in that perspective because it's easy to shit on it, but he's right. He's unequivocally
He is,
right.
and the thing is, I think unless you're already a Costco guys fan, this is not something that was really going to tick your box. Like, I had no idea who they are. I have never
Oh, dude,
seen anything they've
listen,
done. I probably
I
never will. But
tried watching it. I'm sorry.
and
This is why I wouldn't sit there and take pictures with them. I don't see the merit. I don't see the talent.
and
I
that
see the talent in AJ as a wrestler, though. This guy is definitely professionally trained. I
Mhm.
watched him at QT Marshall. QT Marshall is far better than he's being showcased as, though. I will say that right
QT
now.
Marshall is
Man, he's a
he's
great
always been
heel.
really good.
Great
Yeah.
heel. But I didn't get it, and Steve doesn't know, but the Costco guy broke his foot.
Yeah, actually, I just saw that.
Yeah.
Before the match.
Yep, he did the entire match on a broken foot, which is hella
More
impressive,
respectable.
really.
More
Yeah.
respectable.
But
But
again,
yeah,
so
that was
our,
our excursion, man. It was fun. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I don't know how Steve feels, but I would do it again in a heartbeat.
No, I do it. I would do it in a heartbeat.
It was a wrestling dream, man, to be backstage
Yeah.
with people that like I look up to, like giants. And Tony Khan was gracious.
My wife
QT
was sad that I
Marshall
didn't
was
get to
awesome.
meet the Big Show.
Oh yeah, we didn't even mention that. The Big Show was there. Like that threw us off. It was like when we got to our seats, the Big Show, like his music hit and he walks out.
Well,
He's massive too. He is
he
fucking massive.
oh he is. He's absolutely huge.
But it was awesome. Oh, we saw Adam Cole backstage too. And he was very nice. I just didn't ask him for a picture. He was like, I was like,
what does his tan look like in person?
dude, not good.
Okay.
Stop. It's as bad as MJF. Like, I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know, because when you watch Adam Cole on TV, he's fucking
He looks
yellow.
orange. Yeah, he looks orange or yellow. It doesn't look right.
He looks like he needs to be an extra in like Chicago Med or something when they're going through their jaundice episode. Like,
I love Adam Cole too.
he's fantastic, but dude, I would rather you be a pasty white fucker than some jaundiced yellow dude.
But he also like
I mean,
hate even saying this. He's got to
tattoo
build up a
stripes
little
on your
bit
side,
more.
and he's Wolverine's yellow costume.
Yeah, he's got to build up. He's got to build up a little more too.
by the way, can we just talk for a second, real quickly? By the way,
Yeah, of
about
course.
Bobby Lashley, because that match between the Hurt Syndicate and
it was incredible.
Swerve, that he spears Swerve, puts him through the barricade, and it's a
hard.
steel barricade, by the way. He hit the
we
barricade
heard it
so
land
hard.
right in front of our feet.
Yeah, he hit the barricade so hard, his shoulder imprinted the metal barricade.
Jesus. Did he dislocate anything, or was
No, but
no. He just
Swerve like dead.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
Now, I said that to Steve too. I'm like, this is one of those spots that you watch happen on TV 1,000 times, but you've never seen it live right in front of your face.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally, the barricade, the pipe fell like, I don't know, I'd say 5 feet from our feet, if that.
But here's
It
how
was like,
heavy
clang.
that barricade was, by the way, is that it took 2 people to fix it.
Yeah.
I've always wondered how heavy they were, because you always see them standing on them to jump off, but that makes sense if they're that chunky.
No. So this padding, this grating, but then the top of it is a cylinder, but it's a pipe. It's a solid pipe, obviously.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they put the camera in and the focus towards the ring, once they got Swerve in before Nana covered him, we watched the 2 ring crew guy come over. It took 2 full ring guys to lift that thing back up. Now I'm hiccuping.
I'll give you a penny for your next one.
Yeah. No, I bit a bite of my sandwich, and now I'm hiccuping. But no, it was incredible. Like, it was just a good experience. Like, I had a great one. Donnie said to me, my buddy Donnie, one of my best friends, he said they don't ever put on a shitty Full Gear. Full Gear seems to be that pay-per-view they always put on great.
Honestly,
And
I
was
think
like, wow.
like my final thought on this for me, like I think when it comes to AEW and pay-per-views, I've never seen a bad one.
No,
I've
me neither.
seen like a good one, but for the
Yeah,
most
I've seen
part,
great ones.
they're usually great. They're usually
Yeah.
really, really good. And when you can say, well, you know what, that was just good. I'm like, it's
I
still,
think the worst one we've seen is Steve and I saw it. We saw World's End last year.
Oh, that was dreadful.
That was dreadful. Like start to finish, it was dreadful. Like MJF wasn't even the savior of that. It was Samoa Joe versus MJF, and it was an okay match. But
Well,
like I
unfortunately,
remember,
MJF was also hurt, wasn't
yeah, he was hurt. But I remember like we were watching like Edge versus Christian. That was terrible. We watched so many things. We watched the women's. I think Tony Storm had the match of the night when I look back on it. But it was like one of Steven's first things looking at AEW, and he goes, "What in the hell?" And I
yeah,
was like, "Trust me, this is not a barometer. This
that's
is a
not
very
that's not
in the
indicative of what you're gonna get.
ass?
yeah."
So,
Because usually they're double or nothing. They're all in is usually stellar.
yeah,
But I'll say Full Gear was great. Full Gear was awesome.
good.
I listen. We got to keep the seat. You know, I have Mox and Cassidy. I can sit on their face anytime I want. It's a
And you'll sit on their face with joy.
I'm
And
sitting
on that
their
note,
face. I'm sitting
on that
their
note,
face.
Steve, where can they find you?
You can find me on TikTok at StevieOaks401. You can find me on Twitter at RI Peter Griffin. You can find me on Instagram at Rhode Island's own Peter Griffin, Facebook at Stevie Oaks, and the Cameo app, Rhode Island's own Peter Griffin on Cameo.
All right, and if you give a shit, you can find Joe and I in the show notes.
Exactly. No one gives a shit though. It's all good.
And that's half the fun. All right,
Yeah.
folks, we'll catch you next week, and it will be at some point, I guess.
Yeah. Joe's got a hot model he needs to talk to now.
Oh yeah. She actually just texted me. Yeah.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.